prisons the human eye cannot see. No bars, no locks, no guard standing at the door. Only a voice inside the mind. Quietly telling a man who he is allowed to become. Escape from this prison seems impossible. They hear it for so long, they stop recognizing it as programming. I'm not confident. I'm not disciplined. I'm not the kind of person who succeeds. I've always been this way. And eventually, the sentence becomes identity. The mind is strange that way. It can take a wound and build a personality around it. A rejection becomes a belief. A failure becomes a limit. A childhood fear becomes a life philosophy. And years later, wakes up inside a version of himself he never consciously chose. The Matrix was not just about escaping a false world. It was about escaping a false self. Because the deepest prison is not the one you've built around you. It's the one you've built within you. A man can stand in front of an open door and still refuse to walk through it if freedom does not match his identity. That is why change feels so uncomfortable. The old self fights to survive, even when it's miserable, even when it is broken, even when it's the source of suffering. Because the familiar self feels safe, and the unknown self feels like death. That is why people sabotage transformation. They say they want a new life, but the moment a new identity begins forming, fear rises like smoke in the dark. The insecure self whispers, "Who do you think you are?" The fearful self says, "Stay where it's safe." The wounded self says, "Don't try. You'll only prove them right." Most people listen. Not because these statements are truth, because they have mistaken that voice for themselves. is not you. It is conditioning. It is memory. It is old pain speaking in your own voice. And the moment you realize that, the prison begins to crumble. You begin to understand something powerful. Identity is not fixed. It is built. Repeated thoughts become beliefs. Repeated beliefs become actions. Repeated actions become character. And character becomes destiny. That means the self can be rebuilt. Not through fantasy, through repetition, through discipline, through keeping promises to yourself when no one else is watching. A man doesn't become confident by waiting to feel confident. He becomes confident by acting while uncertainty is still present. He becomes disciplined by showing up when motivation is gone. He becomes strong by stepping into resistance instead of escaping it. And thought by thought, the mind begins receiving new evidence. I am not who I used to be. Because the subconscious believes whatever behavior proves repeatedly. And this is where manifestation becomes real. Not by wishing, not by pretending, but becoming. Aligning the internal identity with the external life you are building. Most people try to manifest a new reality while remaining loyal to an old self. But the old self cannot carry the new life. Eventually, one must die. And that death is not tragic. It is liberation. Because beneath the fear, beneath the conditioning, beneath the story you've inherited, there is another version of you waiting. A version that's calmer, stronger, more focused, and more awake. But he will not arrive by accident. You have to build him. And every day, through every decision and every thought, you are either reinforcing the prison, or becoming the man who walks out.